Welcome to Drums and Wires, tracks dissected by Peter Cook, my friend in the UK, and by myself, Steve Peer, lost in the USA. Hey, Peter, what's on tap today?
Well, today's a very unusual day. It's a day of coincidences because Prince Philip has died, and I have a candle here for him. But we're going to talk about another Prince who, in my view, has just as much impact as our Prince Philip. So I'm sort of burning a candle for Prince, really, because the day he died a few years ago was probably one of the worst days of my life. But we're here to celebrate his music. And in particular, Prince has fused so many genres. We could be on for hours, but we're going to take one track and we're going to take his funk, pop, soul side. So, I mean, what are we going to talk about, Steve?
Well, we're going to talk about I Want to Be Your Lover by Prince. And let's not get confused by the Spice Girls tune Wanna Be, all right? Because I know a lot of people do. But this track came out in 1979 in August, and it was the lead single from his second album, believe it or not, and it reached number 11 on the Billboard charts over here. I'm not exactly certain what happened in the UK, but I'm sure it did something pretty good over there. And this song I find this song sort of interesting, not necessarily from a drummer's point of view, but as a multi-instrumentalist. He did play the drums on this track, and it's pretty straight four on the floor, but he did everything else. I think what's kind of cool is that he sang the whole song in falsetto. The verse chords are the same as the chorus chords. It's just a really straightforward kind of song. The single is 2 minutes and 47 seconds long. However, there's a jam version that goes like 6 or 7 minutes where he's all over the place. I think another little sexy sort of quality of the song is that he had a crush on his keyboard programmer there, Patrice Rushen. I'd had to peek at my notes for a second. And he had a crush on her. And he just doesn't strike it, you know.
I think
is he a crush kind of a guy?
I think a lot of people have had crushes on Prince. I mean, I think he's another one like Mark Bolan. If I'd been a homosexual, I would have wanted to have a crush on him. But I've had a crush on his music, on his spirituality, and actually Prince has crossed so many boundaries that's got him into a lot of trouble, including with record companies of just wanting to do his own thing. And here we are. I mean, he crossed sexual boundaries, black, white, green, yellow. I mean, here we are, two guys, white guys, discussing the funk.
Yeah, really. It's like two monkeys with a cell phone, but we're going to give it our best shot.
We'll try our best, and apologies.
Yeah, right. And I like I said, I think the highlight of the song is this young guy who is being pretty much groomed to be the next Stevie Wonder, and we knew he was going to go way beyond that. And pulling off this song, and there's actually a video that goes along with this song, which is pretty standard. It's a video of Prince just doing all the instruments and all that sort of stuff, and pretty mellow compared to his first single, which is called Soft and Wet. So he was crossing boundaries very, very early on.
I mean, this was the beginning of Prince's decision to conquer the world of pop, really. I mean, his first album was very interesting, but then he started to realize that if he was going to cross the mainstream, he had to do things that people expected him to do. And whilst he's been a master of doing things that nobody expects you to do, this was a straightforward single. And like Purple Rain, I think that's very much derived from John Lennon and Imagine and lots of other things. He's borrowed so many styles, but put his own unique trademark on them. But no, he's not been frightened to just say, well, I'll do a pop song, I'll do a rock song, I'll do a funk song. And he just churns them out. I mean, his vault, which is still full of music, has got so many songs in it that, I think he could continue to release songs until about 2077 if Paisley Park so desired, an album every so many years or whatever. Just so much output. Very much like a person we're going to talk about in the future called Bill Nelson, another Nelson. Bill was a continuous producer of music, and of course, that sort of continual output means that there aren't enough hours in the day to sort of, if you're going to be Prince, he worked through the day, night, and other parts of the 24 hours that we don't even know about. So that's an amazing thing. But I mean, he used different drummers. We're not here to talk so much about drums, but I mean, he's had funk drummers, he's had rock drummers with Third Eyed Girl, and we've interviewed Eden Nielsen, his last bass player, who was really, really carried him through his later years. And also Sheila E, we had the privilege of talking to, and she's very much in the sort of Latin percussion style. I mean, anything to say about sort of drums and Prince, because he's chosen drummers that have fitted every part of his career, from simple things through to this more complex sort of jazz-based sort of approach.
Yeah, certainly as far as drummers go in his career, not knowing all of them as well as you do, my gosh, they're all monsters. There's no question. I mean, who wouldn't be intimidated walking into a room and saying, you know what, you're going to be the backbeat, the heart and soul of this new unit. And his units were constantly changing as well. Much like a David Bowie or something like that, who I'm sure we'll talk about as well. And I think another. Speaking of soft and wet and drummers, just to sidetrack a little bit, you have like a mark on your cheek that you never seem to wash that cheek. What's going on?
Well, Sheila E kissed me.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
And then she kissed me.
Oh, and then she kissed me.
I think.
Well, anyway, uh, maybe she had in her mind like, hey, I want to be your lover. But anyway, that's the single that we chose this week.
That's just your wishful thinking, Steve. I'm afraid the truth is much, much less interesting. But she gave me a fantastic interview, which we've got on YouTube and which we may link to this, because and she was very generous with her time, because she was preparing for a gig. And one of the things she said there, I said to her that if something good is going on at the front of the stage, it's often because something good is going on at the back of the stage. I don't mean backstage, but yeah, the drums and bass are pivotal to what's going on with the people we regard as the more extrovert figures. Of course, Prince is a massive introvert, and I think you looked at the sort of his early interview on the Dick Cavell show, and he completely froze up, didn't he, for that?
Yeah, and certainly when you go back to this time period, 1979, he was on American Bandstand with Dick Clark, and Dick Clark said, "Hey, listen, I've interviewed 10,000 musicians. This guy threw me for a loop." So that's worth checking out, folks. And listen, speaking of checking out, we're going to wrap it up today. We really hope that you comment and set us straight, because we don't always have all the facts right. Actually, it's very rare when we have all the facts right, but I think in this case we're doing pretty good, and hope to see you next time. Thank you and good night.